Will the House come to order, Mr. Clerk?
Aloha and good afternoon. Today's invocation will be delivered by Representative Bertrand Kobayashi. Will the members who wish to participate please rise?
Please sit down. Today I want to read the original version of the paradoxical Ten Commandments by Dr. Kent Keith. In my prior invocation, I read portions of the Mother Teresa version of the paradoxical Ten Commandments. That was written perhaps 30 years after the original version. Mother Teresa, of course, was a Catholic nun in Calcutta, India, who is now Saint Teresa and the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. The original version was written by Kent Keith, who some of us know as the former director of the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. He is also a graduate of Roosevelt High School, Harvard University, Oxford College, the Richardson School of Law, and the University of Southern California. So here is the original version of the paradoxical Ten Commandments. 1. People are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. 2. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and women with the smallest minds. Think big anyway. People favor underdogs, but follow only top dogs. Fight for a few underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help, but may attack you if you do help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you'll get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best you have anyway. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Burt Kobayashi. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Aquino, Ms. Bellotti, Mr. Bronco, Ms. Clark, Ms. Eli, Mr. Ganadin, Mr. Gates,
Ayo.
Ms. Har,
Present.
Mr. Hashem, Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Holt,
Here.
Ms. Ichiyama, Mr. Iligan, Mr. Johansson, Ms. Capella, Ms. Kitagawa, Mr. Bertrand Kobayashi, Mr. Dale Kobayashi,
What happened?
Mr. Kong,
Oh, I'm here. I mean, I don't know. Did you miss me? I didn't hear anything.
Mr. Lopresti,
Ayo.
Ms. Lowen,
Luke.
Ms. Luke,
When are you supposed to like call my name? There's something bugged out on my freaking technology.
Representative Kobayashi, your audio is on.
Oh, did you get me as present? I don't know. I had some technical
Representative
problem.
Kobayashi, you're noted as present.
Ms. Martin, Mr. Matayoshi,
Here.
Ms. Matsumoto, Mr. McDermott, Mr. McKelvey, Mr. Mizuno, Ms. Morikawa, Ms. Nakamura, Mr. Nakashima, Mr. Nishimoto, Mr. Ono, Ms. Okimoto, Mr. Onishi, Ms. Peruso,
Here.
Mr. Quinlan, Mr. Sayama, Mr. Takayama, Mr. Takumi, Mr. Tam, Mr. Tarnas, Mr. Todd, Mr. Tokioka,
I'm present.
Mr. Ward, Ms. Wildberger,
Here.
Mr. Woodson, Mr. Yamane, Mr. Yamashita, Mr. Speaker.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, all 50 members are present.
Members, on item 2, reading of the journal, Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, may this matter be deferred.
So ordered. Item 3, Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the governor?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we are in receipt of Governor's Message Number 5, transmitting a report previously requested. May this matter be received and filed.
So ordered. Item 4, Mr. Clerk, are there any Senate communications?
Mr. Speaker, there are none.
All right, members, we'll be taking a recess subject to the call of the chair. Recess.
Majority members caucus in the auditorium.
Members of the House, please be seated.
All right, will the House come to order? Members are on item 5. Representative Bellotti.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Report numbers 388-22 through 461-22 as listed on pages 1 through 20, and that the accompanying House bills as may be amended past second reading and/or be referred to their designated committees.
Okay, Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All right, is there any discussion beginning with SCR 388, 389, 390, 390? Representative Okimoto,
Mr. Speaker, SCR 390, please,
please proceed.
with reservations.
So ordered. Further discussion? If not, Representative Pruso
With reservations, please.
on 390. So
Correct.
ordered. Further discussion on 390? If not, 391, 392. Representative Capella.
Reservations, please?
Pardon, was that reservations?
Yes, please.
Okay, so ordered.
Mr. Speaker,
Further, Representative
over here, right side, McKelvey.
McKelvey.
Just a WR. I know it's just a study, but and I talked to the author about it, but we still have some concerns, so reservations.
So ordered. Representative Pruso.
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to try not to get emotional about this because I'm extremely concerned because I have seen the impact of these burritos on my favorite surf spot, and it's pretty devastating. They're being washed into the ocean and breaking up into really unrecoverable microplastics. And I think I am really hopeful that moving forward, the study does not leave these unpermitted tools in place because they're not effective. That shouldn't be our question. Our question should be, what next? Our question should be, how do we engage in managed retreat? How do we stop building houses on sand dunes? Yeah, for all of those reasons, I'm a strong WR on this measure.
Okay, so ordered. Is there further discussion on 392? Representative Lopresti.
Reservations, please.
So ordered. Further discussion? Representative Quinlan,
In support, brief comments.
please proceed.
I share a lot of the same concerns as the previous speakers. I'm not sure that beach burritos are the way to go in the future, but ehukai is the test case for the entire state. We're going to see this sort of erosion on all of our coastlines in the next 20 or 30 years. So I think it is very appropriate that we take the time to study these measures. And I would also like to point out that in the current version of the bill, OCCL still retains all their powers and abilities to fine and remove burritos as they see fit. Thank you very much.
And that was in support, correct? Okay, is there further discussion? If not, next page, 393, 394, 395. Representative Capella,
With reservations, please.
so ordered.
Reservations for Wildberger, please.
Rep. Wildberger, reservations. Representative Bronco,
With reservations.
so ordered. Rep. Bronco, Rep. Ganeden,
Same request.
pardon?
Same request, Speaker.
Same request, so ordered. Is further discussion? Representative Pruso,
Reservations, please.
So ordered. Further discussion? If not, next page, 395.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker.
I'm sorry, 396. 396.
Mr. Speaker,
Representative Lopresti.
on the previous measure, I'd like to have reservations when appropriate.
On 395.
Yes, sir.
So ordered.
Thank you.
We're on 396. Any discussion? 397. Representative Lowen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, in opposition.
So ordered.
And brief
Please
comment.
proceed.
This bill gives DOBOR much greater power to impose parking fees without public input. And, there have been issues with this in my district repeatedly for many years, and I would just propose that if this does move forward, it should be considered that this power shouldn't apply to imposing new parking fees where they never existed before, or to imposing parking fees over a certain % increase, perhaps, or maybe narrowing it down to just LOI. But this is hugely concerning and should be for anyone who's had issues with DOBOR in their districts with small boat harbors.
Okay, Representative Martin.
With reservations, please, and brief comments.
So ordered. Please proceed.
I have concerns. I'm not sure. I tried to find out how this will apply to the parking in the Alawai area for surfers currently using Kaiser's Almoana Bowls, and I would oppose any measure to make that paid parking. So I haven't clarified how this bill will impact that. Thank you.
Representative McKelvey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With reservations as well.
So ordered.
I know there's more discussion to be had, and it may be limited to certain situations or areas, but I'm getting a lot of concern from my local permit holders who are worried that without this kind of mechanism for public input, that fees could be raised, and while the commercial entities would have no problem being able to pay them, they could displace them by a matter of fact from being able to use the facilities to which they are permittees. So thank you.
Okay, Representative McDermott.
Reservation, Speaker.
So ordered. Representative, further discussion?
Mr. Speaker,
Representative Lopresti.
reservations, please.
So ordered. Okay, we're on 398, 399. Next page, 400, 401, 402, 403. Next page, 404, 405, 406, Representative Okimoto.
SCR 406, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Bronco.
With reservations.
So ordered. Representative Capella.
With reservations, please.
So ordered. Representative Peruso.
No vote.
Is a no vote? So ordered. Representative Tam.
In support, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed.
Thank you. This bill was brought forth by constituents of Waikiki who are fearful of their safety or have been victims of criminal activity in the area and sometimes in their own homes. It is no secret that Waikiki is one of the most well-known areas in the world. Millions flock there every year, believing that it is a safe area to spend their vacation. However, they soon find out the hard way that they end up becoming victims or statistics, and that ultimately affects the surrounding neighborhood and the people that live there. As a result, we see headlines like Waikiki crime made up 17% of Oahu offenses over a past week. Recent violent crimes leave Waikiki residents on edge, or HBD searching for attempted murder suspect after Waikiki's shooting, and the list goes on. It has gotten very bad that Waikiki residents have teamed up with Honolulu Police Department for neighborhood patrols, and the prosecutor is working to solve the habitual offender situation going on. Despite our efforts, members of the patrol have found 85 repeat offenders, all who have been arrested and cited in Waikiki, and the number continues to grow. Frustration over this has been echoed by the city prosecutor and police officers who believe the system is broken. We often see Waikiki as a tourist destination and a business destination, but it's also a neighborhood. We have families and senior citizens that are scared that they're going to be victims. And I am grateful for the many who have testified in support of this measure and some who are willing to share their stories of what happened to them. By passing this bill, we will provide some much needed support to the city when it comes to protecting our neighborhood. And I wanted to thank the Chair of Economic Development for giving this bill a chance. For these reasons, I stand in support of this measure.
Okay, is there further discussion? Representative
no.
Dale Kobayashi.
No vote for me.
So ordered. Further discussion.
Mr. Speaker,
Representative LaPresti.
no vote for me. Any comments?
So ordered. No vote.
Thank you. I fear this kind of measure sets a very dangerous precedent. The last thing I think Hawaii wants to become is a place where there's certain enclaves where locals aren't allowed, regardless of the reason. And while that's not the intent of the measure, I'm sure that could snowball into something like that. If you go to places in the Bahamas, in the Caribbean, and Jamaica, there are places where it's very clear that only people of a certain type are even allowed in those areas. And I really don't think we want to become that. And this kind of measure starts to move us down that path. Thank you.
Okay, is there further discussion on 406? Representative Ward.
Speaker, with reservations.
So ordered.
And because of the enforceability of this, the only way it can be enforced if we adopt some of the things that they do in communist China.
Okay, so further discussion? If not,
Mr. Speaker,
Representative Holt. Representative Holt.
No vote, and may I please have the words of the representative from Ewa Beach entered into the journals if they're my own?
So ordered.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on 407. Next page, 408, 409, 410, 411. Next page, 412, 413, 414, 415. Next page, 416, 47. Representative Ward.
416, Speaker?
Yes.
With reservations and two comments.
Please proceed.
First is, what's missing is how they define civic education. This is about an appropriation to get more civic education in the school system, which is, actually, it's quite good. Some people don't even know where Canada is or that we've got 3 branches of government. But what I'm concerned with, secondly, is that this doesn't drift into a critical race theory, because it does say it's going to teach critical thinking and it's got more money to expand what we're doing. And I don't think we as Hawaii deserve anything close to critical race theory, as we are not only the melting pot of all the races, all the countries of the world. We are better than that. So I hope this is not a sneak, what would you call it, Trojan horse for critical race theory. For those reasons, Mr. Speaker, with reservations. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? If not, 417, 48. Representative Pruso.
On SCR 416, please.
Please proceed on 416.
In support, and just a brief comment, I did want to provide clarification that critical thinking is not critical race theory. Two very different things. So let's stick with the language of the measure. Mahalo.
Okay, is there further discussion? If not, 417. Representative McKelvey.
I'm sorry, when we're done with this measure, could we go back to 406-22? I apologize.
406. Okay, let's finish 417. If not, we'll go back to 406. Representative McKelvey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With reservations due to the effect it could have on my area of Kaanapali with our local population.
Okay, so ordered. Okay, we're back on page 9, 418, 419. Next page, 420, 421. Representative Tam.
With reservations.
So ordered. Representative Capella.
No vote, please.
So ordered. Further discussion? If not, 422. Representative Okimoto.
Mr. Speaker, with reservations.
So ordered. Representative
Permission to
please proceed.
Permission to insert written comments into the journal, please.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Further discussion on 422. If not, 423. Representative Okimoto.
Reservations, please.
So ordered. Okay, next page, 424, 425, 426. Representative McDermott.
No vote, please.
So ordered. Further discussion? If not, next page, 427, 428, 429. Representative Okimoto.
Reservations, please.
So ordered. Representative Ward.
Same request.
So ordered. Okay, next page, 430, 431, 432. Next page, 433, 434, 435, 436. Next page, 437.
Mr. Speaker.
Representative Lopresti.
In support.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and if you'll indulge a few comments, even though it's second reading. I wanted to speak today on behalf of many of my constituents residing in planned community associations. Many of us have been affected one way or another by restricted access to our own yards for personal agriculture. That is to say, they can't grow tomatoes, they can't grow cucumbers, they can't grow their own food. When today's high costs of living are so the inflation is going up because of the high cost of living, in part because of food, and we are having so many different measures that move through this body to try to encourage local food production. We really need to enable, allow, and empower people to grow their own food in their own gardens. And that's simply what this measure does. There's other exciting measures going through the body right now related to gardening in schools. And this dovetails perfectly with that. So I really hope that this measure moves forward and these other gardening activities are allowed. We shouldn't outlaw gardening. And this bill helps to get rid of that ridiculous thing. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, Representative Okimoto.
Reservations, please.
So ordered. Further discussion? If not, 438, 439, 440. Next page, 441, 442, 443, 444. Next page, Representative Capella.
On 444,
444, please proceed.
with reservations, please.
So ordered. Further discussion? If not, next page, 445, 446, 447, 448. Representative Okimoto.
With reservations, please.
So ordered. Further discussion on 448. If not, 449. Next page for Representative Ward. Okay, Representative Ward on 450. We're on 450.
450. Speaker, I stand in strong support.
Please proceed.
With a brief comment. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, this is about the land next to the
Representative Ward, we're on STR 450. 450, relating to collective bargaining.
Okay, I shot ahead by one bill, sorry.
Okay, so we'll strike that. Any discussion on 450? If not, 451, Representative Ward.
Thank you, Speaker. Sorry for that jumping out ahead, which probably personifies the intensity of what I feel about this bill. In fact, this bill is an imperative must pass, if you will.
It's in support.
In support,
correct?
strongly, maybe too strongly in support. But it basically says that if we don't pass the bill, what we've said in terms of keeping our commitment to the Hawaiian community, we will have reneged on that. We will have put it aside. We'll have said that, you know, we really want to give you lip service, but we don't want to really give you what is in effect to build the land, or to build upon the land of which 28,000 people have been on the wait list for years and years and years. You might say, well, it's such a small piece of land, you can't really do that much to take the 28,000 off the wait list. But Mr. Speaker, you know of the poetic, I think it's a short story where the starfish have filled the shoreline and the beach is just filled with starfish. And this bright young man kind of walks up to it and says, wow, this is really bad news. I'm going to start throwing them back into the water. But another young man comes up and says, hey, what are you doing? You've got so much here. There's going to be no difference at all that you're going to make in doing this. And he says, well, watch this. He picks up another one and throws in. It'll make a big difference to that one. And Mr. Speaker, this is the whole thing about this little piece of land that the UH is probably going to fight for. But I think it's a very significant move that we mean what we say when we're for the Hawaiians to get back on the land. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right, is there further discussion on 451? If not, 452. Representative McDermott?
Wildberger, please.
Oh, Representative McDermott?
No vote, please.
No vote. Representative Wildberger?
Reservations, please.
So ordered. Representative Okimoto?
No vote, please.
So ordered. Representative Ward?
Same request.
So ordered. Further discussion, Representative Matsumoto?
With reservations, please.
So ordered. Is there further discussion on 452? If not, 453. Next page, 454. Representative Har.
At the appropriate time, can we go back to Standing Committee Report number 452?
Okay, so 454 first. Any discussion? If not, 452, Representative Har.
Please have the clerk register a no vote.
So ordered. Is there further discussion on 452? If not, we'll go back to page 16, page 19, 455. 455, Representative Okimoto.
With reservations, please.
So ordered. Okay, 456, 457. Next page, 458, 459. Representative Okimoto.
No vote, please.
So ordered. 460.
Mr. Speaker,
Representative Pruso.
when we have an opportunity, may we go back to SCR 453, please?
453.
Oh, sorry, no, 452.
452. Okay, let's finish 459. Any discussion? If not, we'll go back to 452. Representative Pruso.
No vote, please.
So ordered. Any discussion on 452? Okay, if not, we'll go back to 460. 460, 461. Any discussion on 461 or any other measure? Okay, if not, we'll take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. Members, we are now on supplemental calendar number 1, item 8, introduction of resolutions. Mr. Clerk, are there any resolutions for action?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we have for action House Resolution number 8 relating to the committee assignments of the House of Representatives of the 31st Legislature. This resolution is offered by you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Belatti.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt House Resolution number 8.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. Mr. Clerk, are there further resolutions for action?
Mr. Speaker, there are no further resolutions for action. May all others be referred to print.
So ordered. Okay, members, we're on item 7. We're back on the order of the day. Are there any announcements? Representative Lopresti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hopefully you can hear me. I just wanted to let Progressive Caucus members know that we're going to be meeting directly after session today. I understand there's other hearings. We got pushed back from 1 o'clock, but we do have special guests from SIX, the organization, one of the main progressive organizations in the country, and they're going to talk about conferences and opportunities and hopefully some scholarships people can get to attend some policymaking groups. Thanks.
All right, Representative Ward.
May I have a 10-second recess, please?
I'll take a 10-second recess, subject to the call of the chair. All right, will the House come to order? Members are still on item 7. Are there additional announcements? Representative Ward.
Mr. Speaker, just to confirm that the fellowship luncheon is on tomorrow with the Fijian pastor who is a rugby star, and the food will be picked up as it is ordered today at Representative Mizuno's office. So please apply. Thank you.
All right, are there further announcements? If not, for the motion to adjourn, Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 12 o'clock noon tomorrow.
Representative Matsumoto.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. The House stands adjourned until 12 noon tomorrow.